Hello,
Hello.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Rachel.
We are married,
Yes.
we are in love,
Yes.
and we both had massive spiritual awakenings.
Yes.
We have no idea what we're doing.
No idea.
We have just been called to talk and share our story.
To share.
So here we are, doing everything ourselves.
Yep.
We want to introduce ourselves a little bit and let you guys know who we are, where we come from, and what our idea
What we hope.
Yeah, what we hope
This will be.
this conversation, this podcast, this whatever you want to call
Whatever
it,
you want to call it.
is. With that said, we are both very much still in the awakening process. Yes. We are just removed enough from the darkness of it to sit down and consciously have a conversation.
I like that. Consciously have a conversation.
Yeah, consciously have a conversation. Okay, I guess I'll start. I should say this may not be pretty. There's going to be hard cuts. There's going to be laughing. I'm editing. I'm filling.
Kevin's doing everything.
I'm filming. We're doing all of it.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Learning as we go.
Yeah, and we're learning as we go. So apologies to all you professionals out there.
No, it's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing.
We're going to win an Emmy.
Guys, we're going to win an Emmy.
That's
Okay.
what I've decided.
So my name's Kevin Pasden. I was originally born just north of Boston, Massachusetts, in a smaller city named Peabody. I was a fourth generation firefighter, EMT in Peabody. My father, grandfather, great-grandfather were all on the job. I absolutely loved the job. But I now live in Los Angeles. I've lived here for the last almost 14 years. This is where I met this beautiful human being right here.
Technically.
Well, technically, yes.
We'll get into that later.
Oh, okay. Will we?
Yeah, like our story.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, is like, we're going to get into our stories in other episodes. We're going to get into lots in other episodes. This
Yes.
episode is just us introducing ourselves and letting you know, what our ideas are and what
kind of just getting a feel for this space, I guess.
Yeah. So back to me. After about 7 years between the ambulance and the fire department, I decided to leave to pursue a dream. I'm an actor.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I've been doing it now professionally since 2009. While I was still in the fire department, I did a couple soap operas, and the guys at the firehouse loved that. But yeah, I mean that's me in a condensed nutshell. There's so much more, but you'll learn about it as you go along in this journey with us.
Yeah.
Rach?
My turn.
Your turn.
I was born here in Los Angeles, but to any of my friends who were born in proper LA, they tell me I was not. I was born in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, which is about an hour and a half south of Los Angeles, California. I am one of 6.
We have a flickering light.
We have a flickering light. So Kevin's going to fix it.
I'm going to fix it. See? This is what we're talking about. We're doing it all ourselves, baby. Ooh, got shocked again.
Please don't die.
Okay.
Okay.
Please.
Movie magic.
Yes. Oh. Okay. Please, my love.
I am one of 6 kids. I had a pretty normal American childhood, I would say.
Okay.
I did not go to college. I knew pretty early on that I wanted to be an actor. And so as soon as I could, I moved to Los Angeles, California. And
where she was born.
Where I was born. And I began pursuing acting. And along the way, I was a nanny for about 10 years. I moved to New York right as the pandemic hit. And that is when Kevin and I met. He was here in LA and I was in New York.
Yeah, I mean, let's just dive into that.
Zoom romance.
A Zoom romance, a Zoom meet cute, if you will. I was in my acting class. I was actually in my teacher's training class. So I was learning to become a teacher at the studio that we both belonged to. And Rachel had been a teacher there for
7 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 or 8 years. So I was in like a breakout room with the teachers, and one of our friends, Rex, said, "Hey, Leslie," the name of our acting teacher.
Shout out,
Leslie Kahn. He said, "Leslie, we have a surprise for you today." And she went, "I love surprises." And then sure enough, this box pops on screen, and there's Rachel's face just leaning in. Ah! So when Rachel had moved to New York before the pandemic, she obviously left the studio, so hadn't seen Leslie in probably 6 months, 7 months, and then the pandemic started. So she was
Everything
very
went on
excited to pop in and say hi.
to see everybody.
And that's when I, who had never actually met Rachel, we had actually been in the same room before at the studio, probably the same like birthday parties.
In same friend groups, but had never been introduced to one another.
Never really met.
Hung out.
We
Connected.
Yeah. Well, I saw her pop on the screen, and I looked and I went, "Who is this chick?" Like there was just, you know, when you meet someone that
They just have that vibe.
That vibe.
I mean, it was one of those spaces where I was so authentically me, because I had been with all of these teachers and Leslie for close to 10 years. And so for me, it was just popping into like a friend hangout sesh.
Yeah.
I was just planning on being there for 10 minutes. And so Kevin got to see like the most honest version of myself. I wasn't trying to impress anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I was in a relationship at the time. So, you know, she caught my eye just as like the striking energy that she is. And it wasn't until months after I ended the relationship that we started organically talking as friends. And do you mind if I tell?
No.
The reason why that actually happened is because both of us have dealt with depression and anxiety our whole lives. Amazing, fun, incredible. Anybody that knows, you know.
If you know, you know.
Ding! Okay, anyways, so now fast forward, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 5 or 6 months later, I'm now out of a relationship. And I'm not even thinking about dating. I'm not even thinking about
dating.
So Rachel was in Hawaii with
the family that I was au pairing for, because pandemic, I became a full live-in au pair for the family I was nannying for.
Yeah. And she came on screen at the beginning of class, and I could tell her energy was down. She was kind of withdrawn. And she just looked at the 5 of us on screen and said, "Guys, I'm sorry, but I'm in a really deep depressive episode right now."
You know, it's so weird. As you're telling the story, my body can like feel the energy.
We're going to talk about the nervous system. That's what a lot of this conversation is going to be about.
Yeah.
But when she said that, my heart dropped, because it's not like I went around and wore my depression on my sleeve. So, you know, anybody that has had depression knows, like, you hide it as best as you can.
And that was the first time I ever spoke aloud to anyone who wasn't like my sister. I mean, even my, best friends didn't really know that for whatever reason. And now I know it was a God thing because Kevin was there. I decided to say out loud for the first time, "Hey, I'm struggling. And I need to be here because I need to be in a safe space with people that I trust, just to feel like I'm not alone, but also for you to know that I'm not myself and I may not be able to actually participate as a teacher. I may need to go off screen, and if I'm going off screen, it's probably because I'm crying or probably because I'm having a panic attack."
Little side note, Rachel said it's a God thing. Now, when we say God, it's completely universal. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with the Bible. You can interchange it with the universe, with source, being, isness, quantum field, cosmic energy. It literally doesn't matter. We just resonate with the word God. And that's a lot of that is because we've undone the programming
From religious trauma
growing up. So, don't get turned off that we use the word God. It literally means whatever you want it to you. Back to the story. So once she said that out loud, my heart sunk because it was one of the most vulnerable things I'd ever heard a human being just come out and say, especially myself suffering from depression for as long as I had. It was something I wasn't even comfortable just coming out and saying in front of, never mind friends, but in front of, someone that you maybe don't know as well as the other people in the room. So I went ahead and I found her phone number on the teacher's list, and I shot her a text like immediately after, she's maybe 10 minutes later. And I said, hey, I know you don't really know me that well, but I also deal with depression, and I know exactly how you feel. And is it okay if I check in on you every day this week while you're in Hawaii just to see if you're okay?
And I had never allowed someone to hold space for me before. And I didn't realize by being vulnerable and speaking out loud what was the scariest thing to me. That was me opening up the opportunity for others to hold space for me, which I had never done before and didn't realize that was even something someone could do for me.
And if you don't know what holding space is, don't worry about it. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. So, once she said yes. She said yes, and
yeah, it was like that would actually be really amazing.
But you also said like you didn't actually expect.
Oh yeah, I mean, in my mind, the craziest part is what I felt, which I now know was my, knowing my gut, was this is a huge moment that this person is taking the time to reach out to me like this. But in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, that's sweet. He's just being thoughtful. He will probably check in on me once, or honestly, just by sending me that text, like that was huge for me. And then that would probably be it. But he literally every single day for a week checked in at some point during the day and said, hey, how are you? Have you gone outside today? Have you fed yourself today? And again, I had never experienced somebody not only saying they were going to do something that I actually needed, that I didn't even know I needed, but following it up with action. And it wasn't until like the second or third day. I mean, obviously I found him attractive, look at him. But it wasn't until like the second or third day of him checking in on me that I found myself like waiting for the text.
I don't know if you've told me that before. See? You always learn something new about your partner. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, the friendship was kind of cemented at that point. And again, like neither of us were consciously looking
for anything.
But
that's what was so beautiful.
But over the next few months and year, it was the pandemic. So we hung out every single night on FaceTime.
For hours.
We got to know each other on like
the deepest level, because again, we both just showed up as ourselves.
Yeah, we'd go into these like time warps where all of a sudden like 4 or 5 hours had gone by, and it was 3 or 4 in the morning her time and 1 in the morning my time. And we were like, we gotta go to bed. We would start movies at the same time. Like we'd both hit play and we'd each have an ear pod in for whatever device we were watching so that we could still hear each other through the phone.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just very, very
slowly but quickly.
Yeah, really got to know each other.
Got to know each other and build that foundation, which in the long run was the most important thing.
Yeah.
and why we're here.
And it's our relationship is a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more detail to it than that. But just for this episode, this is how we met. This is how we came together. We had a period of almost a year where we were apart. That's why while I was in my dark night of the soul. We're going to get into the dark night of the soul.
Before I had really started my awakening journey.
Yeah, I mean, that said, like, I had always, since I was a kid, been into like paranormal. Like, I loved the idea of spirits. They scared the absolute crap out of me, but I found it fascinating and I knew it was real. I always had a really strong intuition. You know, the more I've gone through this journey, I had some really mystical experiences as a kid that I'll talk about in future episodes.
Which is so funny because I had like the opposite, where like anything paranormal, anything ghost or spirit related, I had no interest in. It scared me so much.
Yeah.
And I don't have a whole lot of memories as a kid of any sort of like spirit related memories like Kevin does.
And I didn't have them until, you know, they kind of resurfaced while I was doing my inner healing and my shadow work and, you know, my remembering.
But I always had a really good gut instinct.
Yeah.
A really good intuition.
So, you know, my best friend out here, who's now moved, Trent.
Shout out.
Shout out, Trent. He has always been in touch with his spiritual side. You know, his spirit guides, his angels, his divine team, if you will. And I found it fascinating. And the way we even met was just, it didn't make any sense the way we met, and why we remained friends. But it makes complete sense. Just on paper, you'd be like, what?
Those two.
Those two?
Although you're the same person, so it totally makes sense.
So when I finally met him and he got a little more comfortable with me, he started talking about his guides and you know, he read tarot, and I was fascinated. I couldn't get enough. And he was kind of my foot consciously in the door of starting this journey. And this was now 13 years ago. You know, he started me on books like Conversations with God and Untethered Soul, Many Lives, Many Masters. So I had already had an idea and a belief system of what I thought to be true. And I wasn't necessarily shy about it. Like, for instance, incarnation, I would talk about with Rachel. And
So Kevin was my Trent. Like, he was my first foot in the door of the spiritual world. And, you know, I grew up very Catholic, Irish Catholic. And for anyone who knows Catholicism, so much of this world is looked at in a negative light, not something that you should really touch or seek out. And so I always had a lot of fear wrapped around it. And I also was questioning a lot of things in my own faith, but was very much a person of like, well, prove it to me. And so Kevin would talk about, you know, past lives and incarnation and, you know, God separate from religion. And I just remember always thinking, wow, I love this man. And we have such different views on the world. And like, how are we going to combine the two? And incarnation to me was like, that sounds beautiful. That sounds like a fairy tale, but that's not reality.
then it wasn't until
I had my own
mystical experience
and awakening that I realized that it's all real.
And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into my story as its own chunk of an episode. We're going to get into Rachel's story as its own chunk of an episode. We're going to go through the dark night of the soul.
Yep.
We're going to go through somatics. We're going to go through childhood trauma. We're going to go through, speaking of,
everything.
Both of us have severe ADHD.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to talk about this at the beginning.
That said, we are going to do our best, and I don't even know if we have yet, to let each other finish each other's sentences. Because anyone with ADHD knows that a lot of the times if another person is speaking and you already know what they're going to say, you like to just blurt out either what they're trying to say or what your answer to what they're trying to say is. So
I'm trying really hard right now to stay quiet as you're talking.
you are doing a fantastic
Thank you so
job.
much.
You are so welcome.
That being said, we're also going to, try to keep each other on the path.
We're going to try to keep each other on path.
On path. You know what I mean. We're going to try to keep each other moving and grooving in the direction of success.
Wow. I wonder if I can add a little ding on your
Ding!
smile. Okay, so we're going to get into the details, but we were dating for months. And now I didn't know or necessarily would have called it dating, but we were 100% dating.
We were 100% dating.
And we're going to get into that because this is part of my programming and part of my trauma that I had to go in and see for myself so that I could let go of.
Yeah. And it was so interesting because I was known to be a runner. I never got past like the third date. When anything got serious, I was like, well, I need to be anywhere else. And again, Kevin was the first person where I really surprised myself. And a huge part of it was the distance. Like everything happened exactly the way it was meant to. But because I was in New York and he was in Los Angeles and we were in a pandemic, we both were thinking, oh, great. I mean, sorry, I don't want to speak for him, but I was thinking, well, this isn't actually going to turn into anything. So I wasn't afraid of having big conversations. And I remember like 2 months into us talking, once I had like come to visit Los Angeles and we met in person for the first time. And then I went back to New York, and 2 months into us talking like every day while I was in New York, that was when I finally he just popped into a FaceTime and I was like, so what are we doing? Like, what is this? And I'd never in my life done that before.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I was
what are
like,
we doing?
I don't know, but like,
flirty
what are we?
Friends. It was. She can speak for me because it was safe. I had been in back-to-back toxic relationships that I'm actually super grateful for now and learned so much. And I'm actually on this path because of them.
Because of them.
So, but I wasn't ready to be with anyone, never mind someone like Rachel who was like, no bullshit,
Yeah.
knows who she was or knows what she deserved. Another thing, we swear.
We do.
I remember when I first started my awakening journey and I was in the depths of it, and I would listen to these podcasts and the hosts and guests would swear, and it would completely turn me off. I was like, how are these humans
enlightened beings
supposed to be spiritual if
they
they're
say the F word,
dropping the F-bomb, and it genuinely in my body felt out of alignment. And at the time it was. But that said, what we've come to learn, and I am sure anyone watching has come to learn or will come to learn, is it's the intention behind the word. So it's how you're using the word. If you're pointing at someone and berating them and swearing, that's different than just using it as an adjective as you're laughing. So I ask for anybody watching this that has heard us swear or will hear us swear, I promise you the intention behind it is pure.
Love, which is wild.
Yeah, it's just part of our vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's just kind of who we are.
Yeah.
I grew up in the East Coast, I'm a masshole.
And I
have the
mouth of a
trucker.
sailor, my mom likes to say.
Shout out Gina.
Yes, shout out Gina.
Gina's going to love her name being said on this spiritual podcast. What else? What else can we talk about? Did we give a good synopsis of
I think so.
all of us?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next episode, next conversation, next conscious conversation
With the Pastons.
With the Pastons. Sorry, it's still new because we eloped like 7 or 8 months ago. And we're getting married again this summer for our friends and family on the East Coast, like the big party celebration. So every once in a while when someone says the Pastons or Rachel Paston, I'm like, oh my God.
Me.
we're going to get into specifics,
The nitty gritty.
the nitty gritty.
Why we're here.
But we both come from severe
Trauma.
childhood trauma that neither of us looked at and had,
Or were even aware was there.
swept under the rug, and our nervous systems were always in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Because of what happened to us, we both deal with the, I don't want to say suffer because it's not suffering, but we both deal with the program of OCD. And it's very specific OCD called purely obsessional OCD, pure O. Look it up. And basically all it means is that we don't necessarily do rituals. When as a kid, I did everything in sets of 4. Like when my house was chaos, I'd flip light switches, I
Or
opened
washing
doors.
of hands, that kind of thing.
But now our brains will literally hook on to a hypothetical, a thought, and
Ruminate.
then flood our body with cortisol as though it's real and gets us ready to fight or flight.
Or freeze.
Or freeze. Or fun.
Which you'll probably see me do.
And again, we're going to talk about all of this. But yeah, we're super excited. And again, we have no idea what we're doing. It's just we've been called. I saw this years ago that I was supposed to like sit down and have a conversation. And originally I thought it was going to be with someone else. And then eventually it became utterly clear, like, oh my God, of course it's Rachel. But she hadn't even started her journey in the beginning. So I was like, how is it going to be Rachel?
And you kind of needed to get to a place where you realized he could do it on his own, that he didn't need anybody else to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you get to choose.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it with me? Do you want to do it by yourself? Do you want to do it with a professional? You know what I mean? Like, you get to then make the choice, realizing that it's been you the whole time.
Yeah. Thanks, baby.
You're welcome.
What else? What else?
I mean, this is kind of like our coming out of the spiritual closet. I mean, really more so me than Kevin. Kevin has been proudly out for quite some time.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about like how I, talk to my family about this. And half my family still thinks I'm in a full psychotic break. They think that I've, made a lot of this up, and that's okay. That's where they're at in their journey. But we're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about the dark night of the soul. We're going to talk about the things that helped us. We're going to talk about somatics, as I said. We're going to talk about our spiritual abilities, because as you heal your nervous system and release old programming, old traumas,
you open yourself up to
your connection to source. So with that said, intuitions come online, and might as well tell them now, Rach.
I am a Reiki healer. I'm a Reiki and intuitive healer. I have my own business.
Because of this awakening.
I can speak with my guides. I am also a psychic medium, so I can speak with past loved ones. I can speak with other people's guides if they so choose, your higher self, your soul. And I am also a channel. So I can have other beings speak through me.
It's incredible. And a lot of this page that we create, right? Like this conversation, this podcast, we're going to call Spiritual ReAwakening, because you can't just awaken to something you already are. If you're already something and you've forgotten, you reawaken to it.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that more. I mean, there's like so much. I want to like go down the little ADHD rabbit hole of what I mean by that, but we got to keep you guys wanting more and coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rachel's an incredible channel, and she can talk, to past religious figures, our galactic family, extraterrestrials. And she's still, this has only been happening for a year, so this is still something that she's learning. There's been a lot of lessons of discernment, and it's all very beautiful. But this channel that we're creating is going to be called, it is called, because here we are, Disciples of Light. And that was a channeled message for Rachel from Mary Magdalene. to use the name Disciples of Light. And for a while, I personally struggled with it because disciples to me was automatically tied with religion and specifically Jesus, that a disciple is a follower of Jesus. And while that is completely true, and Jesus was the man, by the way, we're going to get into that. The man Jesus, not the religious figure that, religion put him on a pedestal as. What was I saying?
What disciple means. The Latin
ADHD.
word.
You'll see that a lot too. The original meaning of disciple in Latin is a pupil, a student, a learner of. So us saying disciples of light, light being source, light being God, light being higher energy.
Wisdom, truth.
Pupils of God, learners of light. That's all disciple means. And everyone's a disciple. Everyone's on the path. Everyone is right where they're supposed to be and learning. And again, we're going to get into all this. But spiritual reawakening is going to be one of the shows, one of the podcasts. I mean, it is. Spiritual reawakening.
Let's take that back.
Let's take it. Spiritual awakening. Spiritual reawakening is going to be one section of this YouTube channel.
Yes.
And we're going to start also recording Rachel's channelings with different beings to bring higher wisdom into the collective consciousness.
And just really help anyone who is seeking.
Yeah. And I think I'll end it with saying that through this whole journey of anyone that's listening or watching us, take only what feels in alignment for you. I can tell you what I experienced, how I experienced it, how I got through it. And while a lot of those things are universal across the board for any human being, some things for you on your journey where you're at and what you signed up for isn't going to make sense and isn't going to feel right for you. We're not saying this is the only way.
This is not a handbook. This is simply our lived experiences and what have worked for us. And you'll see that both of our journeys, even though they have similarities, are very, very different.
Completely different.
Some things worked for him that did not work for me and vice versa. And so it's just...
And still right now.
Absolutely.
Like we still have practices that we
Absolutely.
both do and don't do. And that's what's so beautiful about learning who you truly are and getting through the muck of your programming, of your brain.
And just taking any input that could possibly make it a little easier for you. And then letting go of what doesn't and not guilting or shaming yourself because something we've said or somebody else has said doesn't work for you.
Should we talk about like ego versus human spirit versus soul just for future episodes? Okay, so Rachel...
Take it away.
Rachel channels this collective of higher angelic beings called the creatives. We've shortened it to the C's. And we speak to the C's twice a week. They have a soul contract with both of us, but mainly with me, to bring written material, i.e. books, into the world. But it's through Rachel channeling.
Yes.
So Rachel channels the C's. We video it. That'll be another thing eventually on this page. But the C's, you're going to hear a lot in the spiritual world about ego, what ego is. And for our channel's purposes and how we've come to embody what ego is, I got caught up for a long time in the beginning of my journey trying to transcend my ego, that the ego was the enemy. A lot of old texts say the ego is the enemy. Ego's not the enemy. The way the C's have explained it to us and the way we now know it to be true is your ego is your human spirit. And your human spirit is the part of your soul that decided to come down to earth and incarnate and fuse with this human vehicle that is named Kevin. So when we talk about the ego, we're literally talking about our conscious human spirit within this body.
Navigating the twists and turns and the densities of human existence.
Now, what other people will, when they talk about an ego, what other people, when they talk about ego, what am I trying to say here? Now, other people will use ego as the enemy in a negative context. And how we've learned it to be is that part of your brain is, what am I trying to say, baby?
So we have, when we're talking about the ego, we're talking about the human spirit, right? This part of your soul that is incarnated in your body to walk through this life, that came to forget. We then will talk about the soul specifically, which is the entirety of your energetic existence, your soul that exists on the other side in your 8th chakra, which is your soul star, the real you who is witnessing the human journey and guiding you on this human journey. And then we'll talk about something called the alter ego. And the alter ego, the way the C's have explained that to us, is all of the programs and preconceived notions that were passed on to you from the day you were born, from family, friends, society,
teachers,
religion,
institutions,
anything that has been given to you and told as truth.
It's also known as the false ego, the lower mind. But for our channel, we're going to call it the alter ego. So we have the alter ego, right, which is just your brain firing off the programs that were instilled into you. We have the ego, which is your conscious human spirit. And then we have your soul, which is the entirety of what you are on the other side in another dimension.
I'm really proud of myself for being able to explain that.
Dude, it's my wife. Okay, what else?
We're just excited to go on this journey and see where.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Where it takes us.
I say we have no idea where this is going to go. I have an idea, but I have no idea how.
Yes, what the
it's
journey
going to unfold.
Is going to look like.
Yeah.
To get there.
And to be honest, growing up the way I did with the, depression and OCD, I always had to know things. Like I always had to have a plan. I always had to be ready. So it's really these last, couple months, I'm just to this point, maybe 2 months where I'm finally I put my hands up and I'm like, I don't need to know. And I mean it. For a long time, it's like fake it till you make it. And I would just say I don't need to know. I know I don't need to know. I don't. And now the excitement that Rach is talking about, it's exciting to be on a roller coaster and have no idea when the next twist, drop, flip, turn is. And that's how life now feels.
And it's cool because I got to see you from needing to know everything to now genuinely being in this place of self-acceptance and knowing and understanding. Because Kevin doesn't really talk about his gifts, but he has this knowing that is so on point, and he has been shown things. He can see things that are going to come to pass for us that are ingrained in stone. And he just now has this self-confidence that comes from his own self-acceptance of understanding exactly where we're going to end up and that we're so taken care of by God, by ourselves, by our family and friends, that we don't need to worry. And I'm not exactly in that part of my journey yet. I'm still very much in the place of I get frustrated and, being a channel doesn't mean that I have accepted the fact that I don't need to know what's coming. Just because I have these, higher beings speaking through me doesn't mean that I, as Rachel, am able to just like that change everything I ever knew.
Yeah.
And so I'm still very much working on my own self-acceptance and coming to the place that Kevin is at, of just throwing your hands up and genuinely letting Jesus take the wheel.
Sweet baby Jesus. And, with that said, like, Rachel in the last few weeks has really come leaps and bounds of, even if like her mind is firing off, her old program is firing off, she's now able to witness it, step behind
That's
it,
true.
make more room for it, and say, I know this feeling in my body is not,
Is not the real me, and does not mean that that's what's going to happen. But, I still have temper tantrums and like moments of kicking and screaming, and
yeah, I mean, we're human. We're energetic beings having a human experience.
But just for anyone who is still at that place where surrender is fucking hard. It's really, really hard.
It's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, is let go of control.
And I'm extremely lucky, we're both extremely lucky, that we have a counterpart who sees us and understands and is able to hold space, for myself or for, him to have a day where we just need to kick and scream. I fully understand that not everybody has that. So if you're doing it alone, or if it feels like you're doing it alone, one of my hopes for this conversation, for this channel in a whole,
Makes sense.
make sense?
Yep.
That we can hold space for you, that we can be those people that allow you to have those moments to kick and scream, to feel unworthy, to not know what's coming next, and know that there are other people out there who see you, who get it as much as we can, not being inside your own experience, that you're not alone, especially when it feels like you are.
Yeah.
It's when you're the most supported.
It's bonkers to think like that.
Yeah.
In the most beautiful way.
Yeah.
And I say that coming from my own experience, which we will get into in a later episode.
I think that's it. I think we did it.
Guys, I think we did it. If you're still watching, thank you so much. We
More
hope
to come.
you tune in. I think next episode is going to be my spiritual awakening moment. Leading up to it, the moment itself,
And where you are now.
the fallout afterwards,
Yeah.
and where I am now. And then the next episode after that will be Rachel's.
This is where it gets exciting.
This is where it gets, please, trust me. It's wild, it's beautiful, it's crazy, it's all the things. So thanks. Thanks for giving us the time.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity. It's a really cool thing to have known that this was going to happen at some point in my life, and then here we are. We just had to sit down and do the damn thing. And here we are doing it.
Here we are doing it.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Ding! Come on, give me one of these. Ding!